So right now it's split up. We're going to have two different tours.
So welcome everybody. Just good to have you all here. My name is Matt Lieber. I'm a staff person and a leader within the Power Project. And you guys have met a couple of other folks. But if the other Power Project tour members, if you could just give a shout out. So
Clemmy,
Tony. And do we have any other Power Project folks?
Patty.
And Pat, there's Patty.
I'm not going on the tour, but I just wanted to shout out Matt.
All right, that's good. Calvin. Yeah. So here, and then let's see, and Eli, he's a student at Vanderbilt. The Students for Nonviolence at Vanderbilt. Shout out there. And you know, we got to start this right. We didn't start it right when we started this. So the answer is housing, right? So I know we're in a library, but don't worry. What do we want? Housing. What do we want? Housing. When do we want it? Now. All right. We gotta just, you know. We're in the room of the history of the African American Civil Rights Movement, and this is on top of what once was segregated restaurants, not too long ago, and still in the heart of a lot of segregation. So just a quick little history of the Power Project housing campaign, really quick one. So you saw the documentary. The city actually came up with the 10-year plan to end chronic homelessness. Have you all heard of that before? Some have, some haven't. Well, President Bush came up with a 10-year plan to end chronic homelessness in 2002, 2003. But different from FDR, put $0 behind it. Right? So I don't know how you change and put more resources behind it without any resources. But then all these governors and mayors said, oh, what a great idea. We can get lots of media, make it look like we're doing something. The regular people who read the paper look, wow, the city's doing something about homelessness, but not actually doing anything about it. So it helps you get votes, helps you move forward, makes it look like something's happening. They put together an amazing task force of really smart, good people who were asked to be by the mayor, so they came on, of course. There were 0 homeless. So Power Project made a phone call and said, you shouldn't do that, you'd be embarrassed. And they, oh, you're right. So they nominated a couple of our folks. Well, 2 years later, that task force became a commission, endorsed by the Metro Council by law. And again, they forgot to nominate their homeless folks. So this time we said, well, we called you last time. You don't get a phone call this time. And we walked out of the first meeting, made front page of the local Tennessean and two different TV stations. And that same day, the chairperson apologized publicly, came to one of our private meetings and apologized to all of us and said, we will not move forward until we have 3 people on the commission who are homeless or formerly homeless. So, take a round of applause. One of those commissioners is Commissioner Clemmy Greenland, and there are 2 other folks, Kathy Buckner, who's also with the Power Project, and then this other guy, Cowboy, David Luttrell, who's not with the Power Project, but he was on the streets for 20 years. So we're really excited about that. They had this great plan that said no matter what it is, whether it's jobs, health, or housing, the #1 priority is to get people into housing. Because if you are sick, if you're outside, you get bronchitis. If you're inside, you get better. And so they had a good plan. And so we were like, our focus is housing. Our members, when we're out in the streets, tell us that housing is the #1 thing. So we said, so how do we make sure they actually do what their plan says? Like, oh, well, let's just do the math. I said, well, it's been a year and you haven't built any units. And you're supposed to build 1,800. So now you have 9 years left. Build 200 a year. Now, it's nothing compared to what's needed, but it would be light years ahead of what they've done. So we said, here's the math. They kept saying, well, where'd you get these numbers? Where'd you get them? So we finally said, well, they're your numbers. We took it from your report. And they're like, oh, okay. So what we did, so this led to our housing campaign, and it is now known as like 200 units. And last year we were fighting for it, and they ended up giving 50 units. And again, it was not what we wanted, but it was the most the city had ever put in their history of city dollars toward housing. That was last year, $800,000. So again, that's how much they spent on fireworks on July 4th, but it was the most they'd ever done before. Right. So there's, we're going to talk about, we're a grassroots group, we're going to talk grassroots for a second. We have 3 targets, right? So targets are people who make decisions that affect our lives. And you have, really, there's the city, and there's the businesses. And in the city, the 2 targets is the mayor and the Metro Council. And so we're going to try to give you a little bit of perspective of the reality out there, and then in the context of the mayor and the council, and then private. And so when we walk out, just notice that this city is growing at a faster rate than almost any other city in the country, especially within a mile from one place to another. from where we're standing right now. It's developing. We actually met with the 3 lawyers who had together had a total number of assets that they were working for of $1 billion for the Westin Hotel. The tallest building in the country, except for New York and Chicago, is being built where you guys are right now. It's going to be built there in the next couple of years. So you're going to see a whole bunch of that. And we're looking at how do you put pressure on very large people who have effect on the entire council. That's business folks. And how do a group of 4 people utilize allies people who are in school, congregations, to help bring about that change. So this is a little sneak preview. And then we're gonna start walking for about.
Also, right out front is the park where the homeless used to be, and they tore it all down during the summer. Now they got it up again, but they took all the trees out. That was shade there. And now the homeless cannot gather there. If they see 1 or 2 or 3 homeless together, they chase them out of the park.
And they have security going back and forth there. Make
all
sure
day.
we don't get to sit down and take a rest off our feet or something. Might have a headache or
Their excuse
hunger or
was
something.
because of
Get
pigeons.
down.
Because
But
what?
if that, because of pigeons. But all the pigeons dropping and everything. But if that was the case, New York City would have to tear up the whole state. Philadelphia.
How many times you come out of your car wanting to just splat it? So you're going to shut down everything because of that? So they had to use that, keep from saying, we don't want those homeless in here. So everybody know their language.
So you guys will walk, go at Tony's speed.